Well, we're starting to really figure some things out and exactly why Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, as well as just the MCU, are having the problems that they're having. It looks like they did another Black Panther 2018, and a lot of people are worried about it. Let's get into it.
Gracias por ver la esquina de Jody. Thank you for watching Jody's Corner.
YouTube was good. It's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome to Jody's Corner. Thank you guys so very much for being here. Would you guys consider subscribing to my channel? Or hitting the like button? Maybe both? Or sharing? That'd be awesome. But listen, we got some MCU news to talk about. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. What's going on here? Yeah, according to this article from The Vulture, shout out to Shogun Assassin for sending this to me. They talk about some issues here when it comes to the CGI. You guys notice in Ant-Man and the Wasp, a lot of you guys complained about the CGI in that bad boy. And I think we have the answers to that. So, over President's Day weekend, Ant-Man and the Wasp stung in an unexpected venom at the box office, surpassing financial expectations to arrive as 2023's blockbuster movie. The superhero threequel pulled in $120 million in North America, a franchise high and 37% improvement on the opening tally for 2018's Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I don't know if you guys know, is the second worst MCU movie behind Thor: Love and Trash. It grossed $241.3 million worldwide. Now, last time that I checked before Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the expected tracking was $280 million. This is $40 million shy of what they were expecting it to open up globally. But I digress. It became the third most lucrative title behind Deadpool and Black Panther to drop the 3-day weekend here. Arguably even more shocking, though, is the $200 million Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly two-handler, which also stars Jonathan Majors as a subatomic megalomaniac Kang the Conqueror. It managed to pull all of those butts in seats despite emerging from a hive of some of the most negative buzz ever generated by a Marvel Studios property. Marvel Studios Quantumania now stands as one of just two titles in the 31 MCU canon rank rotten on the tomato meter. I believe the other one is 2021's Eternals. The film also earned a rare B cinema score from audiences. B's generally are shaky, Cinema Score's founder explained. And this is what I'm talking about. Cinema Score, Rotten Tomatoes, they don't mean nothing to me. Like, you are the judge. And those of you guys who like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I don't have no problem with you guys. Enjoy the film. I'm glad you guys liked it. But for some of us, we absolutely, hated it. And as a Marvel fan for a long time, it just feels like they're just being lazy right now. But Cinema Score being a B is a bad thing. That tells you that there's something wrong with the grading scale. Doesn't that just tell you something's wrong? Because a B is supposed to mean superior. Like, I remember the grading scale had the words of what it meant when I was in school. Like, a D was subpar, a C was on par, B was superior, and A was outstanding. A B is superior. It's above average. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is not above average. So Cinema Score's grading system is absolute dog shit. So if you have a B, you're bad. If you have a B anything, you're bad. If you have an A-, you're probably bad. Only if you have an A+ Cinema Score, maybe it's like normally like a B or a B+ movie. Let's get back to it. Okay, although many reviews fault Quantumania for omitting the low-key breeziness that distinguished the first two Ant-Man installments, critics handed out their heaviest brickbats to lay into the movie's CGI and visual effects. The UK's Observer derided that Quantumania as an incoherent effects dump of a movie. In Los Angeles Times review, Justin Chang took issue with the realm's surreally designed yet gloppy-looking orange landscape. This isn't world building, he wrote. It's more like world barfing. And on Vulture, Bilge Bilri pondered whether director Peyton Reed and his creative cohort had grown bored whamming together Quantumania's elaborate but listless, psychedelic yet unoriginal visuals. Quote, nothing seems to match. If you told me that the actors had been shot before the filmmakers decided what they would be doing or interacting with, I'd believe you. Golly, that's harsh. It turns out that critics aren't the only ones who feel bad about the computer-generated imagery for Quantumania. It could have used a bit more fine-tuning. some of the very VFX technicians and artists who created those very same sequences who spoke with Vulture on condition of anonymity for fear of professional retaliation. These are the people who worked on Ant-Man and said, here's the truth. Don't tell nobody. Out of fear of, they wanted to be anonymous. Why you gotta be anonymous? We want to know your name, but it's okay. You don't have to tell us your name. So, the VFX technicians talked about it, who spoke to the Vulture on condition of anonymity for fear of professional retaliation. They agreed that the film's CGI quality control measures were subpar. 2 of the 3 people we interviewed admitted that shortcuts were taken and said critical resources were derived away to Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the follow-up to 2018's Black Panther, right? Several of the same effects houses worked on both films, creating competition for the most highly skilled VFX workers. Imagine this landscape where Feige's like, yo, y'all 2 companies, y'all doing Ant-Man and Wakanda at the same time. Best motherfuckers who make the best looking movie, get a promotion and get to stay on contract with Marvel. Now have at it, bitches! And they all scrambling and shit. Oh. Bro, we've heard so much stories about these VFX artists who are like put to the fire, overworked, exhausted, working overtime, not getting paid overtime, just killing them to make these mediocre looking CGI fest movies like Ant-Man Quantumania. And then when I look at Black Panther Wakanda Forever is not a bad CGI movie, but it's not the greatest either. I mean, Eternals look the best of Phase 4. Like, Eternals was the best looking movie of Phase 4, period. Like, she was clean. But, I mean, Wakanda Forever and Quantumania, they're not that far apart. Wakanda Forever is a better looking film for sure. But you know what's ironic to me? I feel like they're giving love back to Ryan Coogler here, because back in 2018, when Black Panther came out, there was a complaint about the CGI. The CGI looks bad in Wakanda Forever. Those rhinos look tough. Some of the suit, the fight with Killmonger look tough. And I'm wondering to myself, for such a good movie to make $1.3 billion, why does the CG look so bad? Then we came and found out that what did Feige do? Feige and the Russos, Feige took the VFX artist off working for Black Panther, and they put them on Infinity War and Endgame to make those movies look better. Good job, white man, taking resources from the only black movie you made. Little did you know it was going to make $1.3 billion and be your most successful solo superhero movie of all time. Good job, Feige. That's really what's up. They realized that they hoed Ryan Coogler. Feige realized, like, dang, I took resources away from the only black movie because I really didn't believe in that bitch. But I'm going to pretend to be real woke. That's why I call it fake woke. Marvel is fake woke. Being woke is a good thing because that's our term. Being woke is a black term, yo. These white people took this shit and trying to make it into some political shit. They can miss me with that shit. That's the fake woke shit that they talk about. The real woke is our word. And it's when you see what time it is. Real, recognize real. You see your eyes is open. You see what's coming around the corner. And that can only come from an oppressed people, I tell you what. But I'm not going to get into that. The fake woke shit that Kevin Feige and the MCU is on is turning a lot of people against them. It's making a lot of people feel uncomfortable and stuff like that. And I just think it's so ironic how Black Panther VFX artists from 2018 were put on Infinity War and Endgame. And then Black Panther suffered. Now here we are 5 years later with their fake woke. They're going to take resources from the white movie of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and put them on Wakanda Forever. And now Ant-Man looks bad and Wakanda Forever gets the shine, I guess. Ain't that crazy how just, what a difference 5 years makes. It's crazy. Let's get back to it. Like previous criticism, leveled at Marvel by effects techs hired for being pixel effed and pursuing unionization. Unionization. You see that when workers are When workers agree that they're being slave workers, they start to form and they want that union. That scares a lot of people. These workers say that the project was severely understaffed while facing an unrealistic short deadline to hit Ant-Man's long-established President's Day bow. Imagine, we got to make it to President's Day, guys. Come on, guys. This is MCU, baby. MCU. Get it together. We got to get it up. Come on. I mean, they were understaffed. These are the VFX workers admitting we were understaffed and we were pushed too hard and we had little time and resources to do what we needed to do. So of course that the MCU is falling right now. Of course the MCU is dying right now. I don't think it's dead because I'm still a Marvel fan and I still believe that Feige could turn it around if he makes the right decisions. But the MCU is factually, it's just dying, and we're looking at it from an actual standpoint with the people who are responsible for making these movies. Most films don't rely on their VFX artists to tell their stories. Why are the VFX artists so impactful to Marvel? Because that lets you know that the MCU uses too much goddamn CGI. When you use practical effects, when you use more real filmmaking, I'm going to use Eternals as a perfect example. Do you know why I believe Eternals look so good? Because the director Chloe Zhao made an actual film. I think Eternals is the MCU's only film. And a lot of y'all hate it. I love it. I think it's the best MCU movie. A blasphemy, right? I get it. Wonder Woman 84, Dark Knight Rises. I know. I'm weird. But that movie is absolutely beautiful. And Eternals 2 just got announced. They're producing it right now. It's in production, baby. So the reason why it was looking so good, because it didn't use that much CGI. It used a lot of real camera shots and real practical locations, real lighting. So then when it came time to use the CGI, the visual artist could really perfect it. Go look at Tiamat. When he comes out of the world, it looks incredible. When she's in outer space with the Tiamat or whatever. Is his name Tiamat or whatever? I forgot his name. Cersei. I'm like, oh, that voice, that it looked like a real thing. That motherfucker looked like he was really in outer space and there's a creature out there holding somebody in the palm of his hand. I'm like, well, god damn. It's so beautiful. The CGI in Eternals is excellent. I think there's about 4 or 5 beautiful, top-notch CGI movies in the MCU. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Spider-Man Far From Home. Eternals. And the other ones I can't think about right now. I don't want to waste more time. But the fact that you're able to use the CGI sparingly through a film means when you get to the CGI parts, it actually is refined, buffered, and it looks good. When your movie is 90% CGI, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, now your shit is going to look mid. Because they have to do the whole goddamn movie. They have to craft the background, the lighting. There's some lighting. They got to craft some lighting. They got to craft the background. They got to craft the universe. They got to craft your suit, craft the action, craft the blasters. It's too much. All these characters, I have holes. That disgusting Kang the Conqueror stretch face. What the freak was that? Stretch Armstrong in the face only. Whoa. It's a problem. It's hard, bro. It's freaking hard. Now let's see what else we got. This was a second wave that happened with James Cameron on Titanic, where the compositors were basically taking naps under their desk because there wasn't enough time between shifts to go back home, then come back. One of the techs said that. Now the entirety of the industry that has been touched by Marvel is permanently seared, and that's causing the most burnout. Oh my God. They're basically blaming Marvel for destroying the industry when it comes to CGI workers. Holy shit. In terms of priority, Wakanda Forever was definitely at the top of the list. All of the money went to that. All of the best resources went to that. It's understandable given the context with Chadwick Boseman passing away and all that. For Ant-Man, there were a lot of editorial changes happening towards the latter third and fourth of the project that were just too late. There's a point of no return. So, guys, if you look at the final act of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, it will look the worst. That's what they're saying here. Why certain things were changed, why certain notes were nitpicked longer than they should have been, that's on Marvel. But it definitely did cause a lot of tension, turmoil, and weight on everybody at the company. Name redacted. They won't say what the company is, but we can pretty much surmise what it is, right? Unfortunately, it is noticeable that there were shortcuts. Certain things were used to cover up incomplete work. Certain editorial cuts were made to not show as much action or effects as there could have been. Oh my God, I'm thinking about the Ant-Man fight when they were going big and small versus Kang. It lasted 9 seconds because they couldn't continue to go on. Likely because there just wasn't enough time to render everything. There was a lot of shortening and rolling of shots. Wow, they're on point. It really did feel like certain scenes were trimmed or otherwise altered to save money, save time, or cover up the inability to get it done. This is shocking. Why didn't we push back the workers? You don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize your livelihood in the slightest. Part of that means when an executive decision comes down the line that says, this is what we're going to do, you just assume that you don't have the power to say anything against it. You can't be like, well, that's kind of shitty. Shouldn't we do something better? Because that will never happen. They're afraid of losing their jobs, guys. What are they going to do? Talk back to Feige? A lot of us are just sitting there thinking, the money isn't there. Why is it not coming down? This article is tough. There is a lot of info. The VFX artist in there. You want me to craft the quantum realm in a 30-minute CGI fest with a whole bunch of ants taking down Kang the Conqueror with blue tips on their shoes? But there's no money. Are you going to give me some money for that scene? No, you ain't get no money, bitch. Do what you got. Do they take EBT? No, they don't take EBT, bitch. We're working on credit. Okay. Holy freak. This is crazy. A lot of us, let's go back and read this paragraph, guys. A lot of us are sitting there thinking, the money isn't there. Why is it not coming down? Marvel spent a bit more money to pay more VFX people. Wouldn't make that much of a difference for the executives all the way at the top because it comes down to them not being comfortable with their bank numbers and us working until burnout. We lose out every time. Honestly, I equate it to human greed. Human greed. These are your VFX artists, Marvel. The ones you contract. It's what they think of you. Overall, I think what they came up with is satisfactory. It's a good placeholder for the beginning of Phase 5, but I think it was so much potential for this story, so much for the visual effects in general. I think the movie is getting the reviews it's been getting because Marvel is doubling down as much as possible on constricting quality. They're squeezing blood out of stones. And we're out of blood. Oh, man. You know what? I'm laughing because it's so telling and truthful, and normally these are the type of things that Marvel would keep under wraps, pay people, but it looks like it's so bad where people are just blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Biatch. The Marvel VFX outside, they dancing, blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. One exclusive, the motherfuckers is out here really, and that's the funny part. But the sad part, and now I feel bad for these VFX artists who are overworked, who have an oppressive employer, who are overworking them to death, not paying enough, only to line the pockets of the people highest at the top. It's a very scummy system, and I was a part of one of those systems when I used to have when I was in the workforce. And it's not a good feeling to have a boss that you don't care about where the morale is really low. And I feel really bad for these people. I know exactly what they're going through. And everybody, a lot of y'all watching knows exactly what they're going through. When you work for a company that really doesn't give a shit about you and just sees you as a number, I can replace you next week. I'm going to schedule you when I want. You want that day off? Sorry. I got to get that day off. Or this other employee asked for that same day off, even though that new employee is newer than you and you have seniority, but she's a girl. So I got to kind of do what the girl employee wants because you're a man, you know? Bullshit, you know what I mean? Okay, my experience on Quantumania is comparable to the majority of the VFX we work on, and therefore not especially bad or difficult. I wouldn't say other projects necessarily took priority over the morale that was particularly bad. Our working conditions are often less than ideal, and Quantumania is just another long line. Says Wakanda Forever took precedence. I felt like the higher-up supervisor roles shifted around to put that on their plates, and there was a smaller team working on Ant-Man. Maybe the director had an idea if he wanted, but he wasn't 100% clear. We had a rough environment where we were sticking in a few main characters in at that time. We weren't told that the characters should be in that environment. We were just going with what felt right. Oh my God, the director, you a hoe. You mean to tell me, you stupid trash director, you didn't tell them what characters to put in? You didn't even design the characters? You just told the VFX artists, there's characters here. And that's exactly explains why Kang looks like that. And that exactly explains why those stupid characters and the freaking LGBTQ girls army and the I have holes motherfreaker exists. Trash. How you gonna let VFX artists direct your movie? The director's supposed to let the VFX artists know, yo, here, come up with some mock-ups, here's some sketches, designs, put them in there, this is how they look, this is how I want them to look, maybe this is how they act. God dang, you let them do it all on their own? Type of shit? Trash director. Maybe the director had an idea of what he wanted, but he wasn't 100% clear. Okay, we got that. He just felt right. Then there were times where we were creating an actor's entire action. Ant-Man moving across something, and you just think, why did they film it the right way or how they wanted it in the first place? Why are we having to redo and recreate? Why do we have to Frankenstein together an actor's performance? Oh my God, oh my God. A quick shot and maybe takes 2 seconds would have been redone 20 times to get the look they wanted. There was a lot of reworking and a lot of inefficiency. I ended up taking over and reworking a large portion of the other artist's work, which is not how things usually go when you're working for other studios. Of course not. That's not how it goes. Why does this director even get paid? He's basically saying that what's the script? You take an L too. Like, if you write a character that does a certain action, that just lets me know that the director and the writer are in cahoots with making this bullshit. Like, y'all were coasting. What were y'all doing? Eating croissants and drinking coffee? You're making the VFX artists do transitions in scenes like Ant-Man running from, like, for instance, when Ant-Man jumped down deep to try to to shrink the battery. And when Ant-Man jumped down, that was CG. Maybe the script says Ant-Man approaches battery, Ant-Man, and then before it talks about it, he gets battery cord on. But the VFX artist actually had to show the graphics of him jumping from the top high point down to the bottom, shrinking, and making, remember all those Ant-Mans when they multiplied? What if they had to CG them on their own and just make up the things that they say? Like what they say is obviously Paul Rudd, but that could have happened after it was shot. Because some of them, you can't even see their mouth, what they're saying. You just hear voices. I don't know if you guys noticed it, because I noticed it when I watched it. I'm seeing all those Ant-Man. And yeah, like the first 2 or 3, the ones that are in the front of the screen in the focus, but the ones that are back, they're talking like this, but you can't really make out what they're saying, even when they're right behind the actors in focus, when you should kind of hear what they're saying, because you can see them. But it's just like, just blur effect with a couple of voices that spring out. I wonder if they had something to do with the directing that fight. Like that fight where Ant-Man and his daughter go big in some, where was the Wasp? When they fight Kang, where he goes big, punches him, Kang, he goes small, punches him in the thing, and he gets big and punches Kang into the wall and goes bam, bam. I wonder, I wouldn't be surprised if the VFX artists completely made that action scene on their own. The script probably says Ant-Man and Kang get into a fight. They start the battle. And then the motherfucker was like, they start the battle? Okay, Ant-Man and Kang start the battle. Director, what do you want? What do you want? Yeah, just Ant-Man and Kang battle. Do some cool stuff. Make them go small, big. Do what Ant-Man stuff does. Make Kang be awesome. Is there any details that you want? I mean, you got it. Just make it happen. Oh, okay. And they probably crafted that CG freaking scene on their own. I haven't seen the finished movie yet. There were some cool sequences we're putting together that seemed promising, but there could have been more people involved on the project, maybe more money spent with a lot of these projects being worked on simultaneously, resources become thinner. The quality starts lacking. You can't expect all of the VFX companies to give the highest quality work, especially if you're going to do it on a lower budget. Well, if this article wasn't telling, then I don't know what is. Ladies and gentlemen, the modern day MCU. And as long as you don't, this spells doom for Phase 5 and Phase 6. I don't think Phase 5 or Phase 6 is going to be good. I really don't. I think both of the phases are going to be trash until X-Men comes. That's just where I'm at. There's going to be a couple of movies that are going to be good, though, that I can't wait to see. But as phases, as general, as a whole, I think Phase 5 and Phase 6 are both going to be mid. Like Phase 4. So the fact that there's this business model they have about, if they continue to do what they're doing with these visual effects artists, you can expect a lot more bad CG Marvel movies in the future. If they continue to hire directors and writers, like Rick and Morty writers, and people who don't have experience or don't give a shit, you're going to continue to have these bad MCU movies. Now, the question of the video is, will they continue these practices? What would you bet your bottom dollar that Kevin Feige is going to continue to scrape out the barrel and try to scrape as many pennies as he can to be cheap, to give the corporate guys and the shareholders more money? Do you bet on Marvel's greed? Do you think that they're going to still overwork their VFX artists, or do you think they're going to make a change? Oh, we're going to hire much more of y'all to make much more better movies when we have all these movies on our slate. Common sense ain't common. Let's keep it a buck. The problems for the MCU are non-ending, and they're going to continue so long as they have these type of practices. There's a really simple solution here. Just make films. Stop making so many movies. Hire real directors, hire real talented writers, and use that goddamn camera lens. Stop relying on so much goddamn CG. But then again, can they do that? Because that is, after all, one of the 3 factors of the MCU formula. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'm Jody Joe, and I'm out this thing. Deuces.